principles from the 7 habits can be used in every area of our lives. And so this is a quote from Dr. Covey, that family is the most important organization in the world. Our families set us up for our lives. Whether we like how we were set up sometimes or not, there's a lot of things that come from what we get in our family. So it's one of the most important organizations in the world. And so families come in all shapes and sizes, and every family is very unique. And the best person to define your family is you. You get to define what your family is. You get to define what your family is about. You get to make it unique to the way that you desire to see your family show up in the world. And so today we'll talk a lot about how some of the principles of the 7 habits can help us with our creating the family that we desire and having those unique pieces of our family be in a way that's going to be beneficial for the way that we want to show up in the world. So go ahead and drop in the chat just to get to know you a little bit. Think about one strength you have. You don't have to put your name unless if you don't want to, but because we'll see your name when it pops up. But in the chat box, what is your one word strength? When you think about your family and how you show up in your family, what is your strength when you think about your family? Okay, I know I'm the peacekeeper in my family. I am the peacekeeper, the humorous person. Like, that's my strength in my family. They know to keep the peace. They know I'm gonna be that person that is trying to find the harmony. I love it. Nurturer, doer, thank you, reliable, caring, compassion. If you're just showing up, we're talking about what strength do we have. Cruise director, that's hilarious. I love it. Get things done. We're gonna get out here. Organizer. What strength do you have for your family? What's your one word strength? Patient. Awesome. Thank you. So we have something to give. Planner, right? And we know this. I love how this comes up. We know what we give to our families. We know what people depend on us for, or they look to us to be in our families. And if we didn't bring that strength, our families would not be able to flourish, right? Our families wouldn't be able to flourish the way they do because they depend on us, right? Unifier, positive. When we bring this to our family, we help make it what it is. And so everyone in your family brings something that helps make your family unique, helps make your family strong, helps to bring your family together. And sometimes it's hard when we're all living in the same household to recognize strengths because we're kind of thinking about our own pet peeves. But if we get down to the core of things, right? Everyone has something that they can give, even when they're not always showing up as their best self. When they are, we know that there is something that they give to our family and they're important to our family. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the family basics. This kind of like sets us up for kind of thinking about how the habits can help us build a nurturing family culture. So we're actually going to do our first breakout room. So in our first breakout room, I want you to think about what are some common family purposes. Like, when you think about what is the purpose of a family, what do you think are some of those common family purposes? So we're going to get in a breakout room and feel free to introduce yourself, but I want you to be able to quickly just share what are some 3 common purposes that you feel like happen in a family. If you are not comfortable talking in a breakout room, you can actually stay in the main room. But if you're interested in, sharing with someone in the breakout room, then I'm going to go ahead and open breakout rooms. You do have to choose to join them. If you choose to join them, you can do that. Let me go ahead and do that really quickly. And we'll only be in these groups for about like 3 minutes. We won't be in there long because it's a very short session that we have today. So not to worry. All right. So you can go ahead and choose to be in a room if you're not comfortable, or maybe you got stuff going on right now. You're like, I can't be in a breakout room. You can stay in here, but go ahead and choose a room if you would like to share with people. All right. And if you find yourself in a room by yourself, I'll know and I'll move you.
Yeah, I decided to stay because I'm driving at the moment in this traffic. So I'll just sit here and wait.
Oh, no worries. That's fine.
Thank you.
No worries. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do what you got to do. I'm going to give them a few minutes. Yeah, go ahead. You can share in here.
Well, I appreciate the flexibility. It's helpful when we're trying to get our families together and get things going.
100%. Listen, if you're trying to cook and sweep and listen and all the things, don't worry about a breakout room. All right, if you're just joining, we just have a couple people in breakout rooms, and we're just really thinking about what are the 3 common purposes of a family. So no worries, you don't have to jump into a breakout room right now, but just think about what those 3 common purposes are. And when everybody comes back that did leave, we'll go ahead and chat about that. All right, we're gonna be in there for 1 more minute, okay?
I joined the breakout room, but I was by myself.
You were, oh no, I was trying to move people as fast as I could, Jose. Jose,
That's
you
okay.
can, yeah, we're gonna jump back in and talk about it, but feel free. Do you want to verbally process? Because you can in this room.
Oh, it's okay. I'm actually starting to drive right now, so I'll just stand by and wait for everybody to come back. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close the rooms. We're gonna have people come back. All right, people are coming back, so give us a minute.
Recorded.
All right, people are joining us back, so just give us a minute as people come back in. As you are popping back in, go ahead and throw it in the chat box. What were you talking about, or what are some things you thought about when it came to the 3 purposes of family? Feel free to start throwing some thoughts in the chat box, or throwing some thoughts in there. What are those purposes of a family?
Desiree, can I tell you what my group was talking about that I thought it was very powerful?
Sure.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Go for it.
I thought the 3 purposes were belonging. That is so powerful. Values and safety. I thought it was very meaningful,
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Yes. Anybody else want to share either in the chat box, or you can come off mute? What are some 3 common purposes? 3 common purposes of family. Thank you for sharing, Letitia.
Where's my partner? I was gonna have her share. Where's she? Where'd she go? Okay. I think we shared pretty much the same, like the sense of belonging, a sense of identity, sense of security, knowing that you have people in good and bad times.
Yeah.
And then the identity part also for the young people, for them to have a sense of identity.
Yes.
Those were other things I think she said already. So.
No, I love that. Thank you. And I see in the chat box, empower, protect, love. Thank you so much, Home, for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else, feel free to share in the chat box. Support. Thank you, Maggie. Awesome. Any others? What are some thoughts when we think about family? Feel free to drop it in the chat box. And so when we think about some of these common purposes, they're really similar, right, to some of the other things that people said, like when you said protect, someone says safety, right? There are a lot of common things that we all desire to see in our families. Yeah, somebody else said safety in the chat box. Yeah, like that's a big one, safety and protect when we think about our children or our spouses and loved ones. And so these common purposes also fall into 4 categories that we believe really is the heartstring of family. And so when you think about these 4 areas, which area do you feel like is the one that your family may focus on most? Or when you were in your breakout room, or when you were thinking about it on your own, which area do you think you focused on the most? Saying safety, I think about body, like this will to live, right? We believe that, when we talk about family, there are areas that more of us focus on than others. So one is body, like to live, right? We need nutrition, we need safety, we need rest, we need a shelter over our heads. To love, right? Our heart, we want self-worth. We want the people in our family to be confident, to be understood, to feel accepted. When we want to learn, we want to challenge each other. We want each other to discover things about ourselves. We want to be more creative. We want to have knowledge. We want to progress. And then to leave a legacy. We want to have meaning. We want to contribute. We want our families to have service, have a vision for our family, and purpose. Which one of these do you feel like? Go ahead and drop it in the chat box. Body, heart, mind, spirit. Which one do you feel like is a big piece of what your family focuses on? Or when you think about your family, which one do you focus on most as it relates to your family? So body, heart, mind, spirit. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So we got hearts. Yeah, heart. That love, that feeling accepted, that self-worth. Yeah, we got a lot of hearts in here. Hearts. Is there a heart in the house tonight? Yeah. There's a lot of hearts in here. Yeah, that's a big deal, right? Spirit, we got some spirits in there. So that meaning, contribution, heart and mind, heart and body, right? Oh, we got an overwhelming amount of hearts today. Yes, I love it. Right, because I mean, when people feel, loved, accepted, all of that, it kind of helps the other things, right? Love this. And so we believe that all these areas really help families become more effective, right? When we are doing things in each of these areas, we are creating a nurturing family culture that really satisfies our basic needs. And our basic needs are the things in the bullets on the side. The bullets on the side are like our basic needs. And so when we are doing things to make sure that those things are happening, we can really have an effective family. And so we just talked about the things that we believe our family should have, but on the chat box, what are some of our common challenges? What challenges are you facing right now, right? What do you believe most families are facing in today's world? What are some of those challenges, right? What are some of those tornadoes that are happening, right? Time, that's what I was thinking about too. Time, yes, Megan. And money, 100%. Time and money, financial. Oh, yep, safety and health. Yep, information overload, external toxicity. Ooh, thank you, Lisa. Yes. Oh, these are some good ones. I said there's some good ones. They're not good, but these are some unique ones. Thank you. Yeah, the pandemic, technology. Oh, that's good. Generational gaps, right? Those things can affect our family. It can be a challenge, right? And so we won't be going in great depth over habit one, but habit one is about be proactive. And one of the things that we talk about is our circle of concern. And so a lot of our challenges are circles of concern. They are legitimate challenges. They are things that we're concerned about, but we may not be able to get rid of, right? We can't make a pandemic go away, right? Air quotes. We can't make time go faster or slower as much as we wanted to. We can't do that. We can't necessarily make all the money in the world grow right in front of our house and be there, and I'm oversimplifying it on purpose because there are some things we can't do, but there are some things we can do, right? With time, we can create some boundaries, right? Or we can stop doing a whole bunch of stuff. When it comes to money, we can budget. We can, do things to help us have more money. There are things we can do, but we can't change some of the things that we tend to worry about. And so when we think about these challenges, I want us to think about, well, what's in our control, right? So we might not be able to control that people want to compete with us. I see unhealthy competition, but what can we control, right? We may not be able to control that, safety is a big thing, especially in this last chat box discussion, people put safety, right? We wish we can make our kids safe everywhere they go when they're not with us, and anybody in our family for that matter. But we can't control everything, right? And so, what can we do, right? So I want us to think about what are some of the things that are in our control that we can do. And as we kind of learn some of the habits over in this overview, right, today, think about what habit would be helpful, right? What habit could be helpful in helping you with whatever challenge you put in that box, all right? Because habits are what we repeatedly do. So I like to use time as an example because that's one that we talk about a lot. So when I feel like I'm not having enough time, I've created a world where I don't have enough time. I'm talking about Desiree. I'm not talking about y'all. So if y'all feel offended, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about my life. I'm talking about my life right now. When Desiree is overwhelmed with time, it's because I have created a world where I feel like I've put too many things in it, and now I'm all over the place because I don't have enough time. And so when I find myself there, I either slow myself down and do one thing in front of me, or I reprioritize, or I start quitting stuff. Like, I be like, okay, do I really need to do this? Like, I need to get off this committee. I need to get off of this. and I start creating more time and thinking about what's important. So that's just an example, but I'm overwhelmed because I created a habit, right? I created a habit of doing things. And so habits are things that we repeatedly do. Some of them are beneficial to us and some of them over time are not. And so when we talk about the 7 habits, how are we with intention doing things that are being effective to ourselves and our families? And what things have we put in place that, you know what, it's not effective to us right now. Maybe it was then, but maybe right now it's not, all right? So we're gonna watch this video so we can actually know, well, what are the 7 habits? What are they anyway? So as we watch this video, I want you to think about, well, why are the habits ordered the way they are? Why are they in this order, okay? We're gonna watch this quick video and I want you to think about, why are these habits in this order?
To achieve lasting effectiveness, we go through a natural process of development, symbolized by the maturity continuum. Dependence is the lowest level of maturity. When we are dependent, we need others to take care of us, to come through for us, to give us our sense of worth and security. Dependence is the attitude of you. I need you to take care of me. The first 3 habits help us move from dependence to independence, which is a higher level of maturity. Habit 1, be proactive, means that we develop our own power to choose our actions and accept responsibility for our choices. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind, means that we define the kind of life we want to lead. It's creating clear objectives and laying out a vision or blueprint for what matters most to us and who we want to be. Habit 3, put first things first, is where we plan and accomplish our goals so that our lives reflect the vision we have for ourselves. Learning and regularly practicing these first 3 habits helps us to win the victory over self, attaining what we call the private victory. Where dependence is the attitude of you are responsible for me. Independence is the attitude of I'm responsible for myself. I can choose my future and make it happen. To be highly effective, there is another level of maturity, interdependence, which is the attitude of we. It's where we work together creatively with others to achieve far more than any one of us could accomplish on our own. Achieving interdependence is the goal of habits 4 through 6. Habit 4, think win-win, is the attitude of seeking mutual benefit in our relationships and interactions with others. Habit 5, seek first to understand, then to be understood, is the ability to truly listen to others, to understand and honor their perspectives and realities. It also means to communicate our own views in a way that is both open and respectful. Habit 6, synergize, is the process of working with others in a collaborative and creative way to achieve new and better results. When we think and act interdependently, we win what is called the public victory. Without sufficient independence, people will not have the character and self-mastery to work interdependently with others. That is why habits 1, 2, and 3 come before habits 4, 5, and 6. They focus on self-mastery, developing the strength of our own character. Private victories precede public victories. Habit 7, sharpen the saw, surrounds all the other habits and is the habit of renewal. It's the habit that gives us the power to consistently carry out the other habits in our lives. It's a pattern of daily private victories that creates an upward spiral of increasing effectiveness that lifts up to new and more rewarding levels of understanding and living.
All right, so go ahead and drop in the chat. Why do you think the habits are in that order? Why do you think they're in the order that they're in, or what you heard in the video? Why do you think they're in that order? Feel free to drop in the chat. Why do you think they're in the order that they're in? Yeah, from more foundational to more complex. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, those bottom ones definitely are foundational. It's harder to go to hey, let's get our family dynamic to going when we haven't kind of gotten ourselves back to neutral, right? We haven't gotten ourselves grounded. I love the word foundational. We use a tree to define these a lot of times. We talk about those habits 1, 2, and 3 being like the roots of a tree, the trunk and the roots of a tree, like helping you get grounded. And we talk about the other habits being kind of like the fruit of the tree, just kind of what comes out of our decision making because we get really grounded in what matters most to ourselves. Yeah, the tree. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, the tree is a great way to think about this. Yeah, thank you, Lisa, for putting that word foundational up, because that's exactly what it is. When we are rooted in habits 1, 2, and 3, people in our public lives, whether it's in our family or in other areas of our lives, we are grounded, right? Like our tree is not going to fall over. And this is a daily practice. That's why we talk about habits. It's what we repeatedly do. If we are doing things daily to kind of fill our cup, and make sure that we are living that private victory, when things happen, we don't, fall over as much. There are going to definitely be days and moments that we are not going to stand up straight, even with all the practice in the world, right? Thank you. Innate human need for dependency, natural and learned behavior to be independent. Humans need each other. Absolutely. It is in this order because it shows our maturity. Absolutely. And, I love to, thank you. I think it's Kareen. I love that you said that, because there are times in our lives that even as adults, we are dependent, like we have adult parents that become dependent. It doesn't mean they're a child. It doesn't mean that they're not able to take care of themselves in some ways, but there are some areas that they become dependent, and that's okay. With that being said, or it's times that maybe we have physically or maybe even mentally and emotionally not been able to be present for whatever reason, whatever life has presented us. And so with that being said, dependence doesn't have to be looked at as some ugly thing that we're being shamed for, because we shouldn't be shamed if there's a time in our life where we have to be dependent. It is to just show that when we're looking to have healthy relationships in our families, how can we grow to a place of independence from the things that we are able to control? Only the things we're able to control. We're not able to control everything at every time in our life. We have seasons where things are out of control, but the things that we are able to control, how can we make sure that we are working through that and keeping that afloat so that we can, have healthier relationships as a result of what we can control. So yes, thank you both for your input there. Cool. So we're gonna play a little game, a little game. And this game is what's your family like? So in the first column, you see family culture number 1. All right. And so this is my game right here. So if your first name starts with the letter A all the way through the letter M, you are in family number 1. Dang, you are in family number 1. If your first name is A through M, I don't even know if I made that like even. I just kind of made that up in my head. If you are family 2, you are the letter N as in Nancy all the way through Z. If your first name is N through Nancy all the way through Z, you are family 2. So we already know if you are in family culture 1, and I'm actually with y'all, that means you're losing your temper, you're blaming each other, y'all don't plan. I guess we, because I'm in this family, we don't set goals, right? We're too busy for each other. We're always competing. We pretend to listen and then we interrupt each other because that's how we talk, right? We focus on each other's weakness and we burn out. We don't continuously learn about each other. We just, we stop learning. I don't need to learn nothing else. I'm burnt out, right? My family, let's talk in the chat box. What is it like? What kind of feelings do we get from being in this culture? Oh, I'm trying to find another family. How are y'all? Exhausted, right, Lisa? I'm tired of being in this family too, Lisa. What else? What else? What is it like to be in this family you are? Family 1. What is it like to be in this family? I want to walk away. Stressful, right? Sad, right? Sad. Like it makes you want to never be around. Like I don't even want to be in the house. I don't even want to be in the house with all of this. Could be lonely. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Could be lonely even if we're together, right? Stressful, exhausted, ready to give up. Like who want to do this, right? All right, family culture 2. You stay calm, you all apologize, you all have clear purposes, you make time for each other, you respect each other's needs, y'all listen to each other, right? Y'all value each other's strengths, you exercise together, you learn together, you have fun together. What's like to be in family culture too? I'm jealous. I want to be with you all. Tell us in the chat box, what is it like being in that family? Yes, supportive and nurturing, a safe place to be yourself. Yes. Who is this? Like, exactly, Kate. Who are these people? Right? Who are these people? Where is this home? I'm trying to be in this home. Thank you, Lisa. Safe, right? Yes, you get to feel safe in this space. What else? What is it like to be in this family culture? Anybody else? Whether you're jealous like me and you want to be in their family, or if you're part of family culture too, feel free to share in the chat box. What is it like to be in that space? Peaceful. Yes. Thank you, Rosanna. Peaceful. Love it. Yes. And so here's the thing. None of us, yes, thank you. A haven. Yes, I love that. A haven to rest. That's beautiful. So the thing is, no family, to Kate's point, no family is all the way to the right or all the way to the left. We might feel like our family has times where it's on the right side, or we might feel like our family at times is all the way on the left side. But at the end of the day, we are a wide variety of these things, depending on the season, right? Depending on what's going on and all of that. And so I want you to think to yourself, this is your own self-evaluation, right? Where are you in your family today? When you think about on this scale, there's no numbers on this scale, so you can make that up if you want to do scale from 1 to 5 or scale from 1 to 10. We're not sharing this, but I just want you to think like, okay, well, where are we when we think about, okay, how often do we find ourselves losing our tempers or actually apologizing and being calm? How much do we find our family kind of knowing exactly what's going to happen in the next month or in the next year or what have you? Like, do we set goals with each other? Do we find ourselves, maybe we have family nights, maybe we do things together already, we spend time, or do we find that we're always competing, or our kids are always competing and comparing, or are people celebrating each other, respecting each other? Do we pretend to listen to each other and just interrupt what we have to say anyway? Are we listening to each other? Do we always focus on people's weaknesses? Are we always minimizing? And not even because we're trying to be mean, but maybe that's how we've been scripted, to always look at the weaknesses, or are we valuing their strength? And then lastly, are we doing things together to making sure that everyone feels balanced? Or are we like always feeling unbalanced? Are we always feeling like we're burnt out? And again, it's right and left, but we're never all one thing. So that's why I love this question, because where are you today? Right? Because next week you might be somewhere else. Tomorrow you might be somewhere else. But this is where your own evaluation of yourself and your family, where do you kind of feel like you are today? And as you are doing that scale, these are all aligned with all 7 habits. Notice there are 7 different things on those lines. And so each one will align with the habit. So I just want to give you a couple more seconds to kind of scale yourself. You can do 1 to 5 if you want, but there's no numbers. Just kind of think like, what areas are we like killing the game? Like we are making it happen. And then what areas do you know, like, okay, we probably can do better at like listening to each other, or we probably can do better at not, always being too busy to hang out and not making time for each other. Take a couple seconds, think about what that looks like for you. This would be a good Thanksgiving game. Yeah, if we were in person, I actually like breaking us up in teams and having us kind of, go at it about making decisions about what we would do in our family if our family was like this. That's fun. Cool. Awesome. So thank you for taking that time to kind of get self-evaluating, yourself, and thinking about what area do you want to grow in with your family, or what would you like to see happen with your family versus what might be going on today. And again, there's no shame in this. Self-awareness is not self-abuse. This is not for you to beat yourself up like, oh my goodness, I suck as a parent, or I suck as a spouse, or whatever. It's not about that. It's about just being aware of where we are. And there can be so many contributing factors to why we are where we are. Question is, right now, do we want to be at choice of where we want to go? All right. So our promise is, if you apply even one of the 7 habits, you can see immediate results. But it's a lifetime adventure and a life of promise. So the thought is, it's not a magic pill, just like any other habit. You can see immediate results if you start applying it. right? And you get to apply it over time so you can see some results. So the only way to find yourself being able to change habits, because some of the things that we looked at right here are habitual. If we are in our families and maybe we're just used to not spending time together, it's a habit. Like we don't even think twice about it, right? Or we pretend to listen, we don't really listen to each other very well, and it's just become the way we are. But we can change our habits. And that's the beautiful thing about us as human beings, that we can change. We can decide to change, and over time, if we apply something to our life, we can see change. And you all are adults, so you've changed so much over the years. You know that you can make changes, so our families can do the same thing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about paradigms, because the way that we see ourselves, the way that we see our family and each other, influences the way that we make decisions. And so I want you to watch this video and think about, well, why are paradigms so powerful? What's the power of paradigms?
So much of what we do in our personal lives and at the office is the result of the paradigms we hold. And what we do, in turn, affects the results we get.
Thanks for coming to the meeting today, everyone.
The word paradigm comes from the Greek root paradigma, meaning pattern, the pattern we expect to see, or the mental image of the way things are. We see everything through the perspective of our own paradigm. What we see, our paradigms, determine what we do, which in turn determines what we get. And unless we consciously stand apart from and examine our paradigms, we might never see that perhaps many of them are distorted, short-sighted, or just flat out wrong. I remember a mini paradigm shift I experienced one Sunday morning on a subway in New York City. People were sitting very quietly, some reading, some resting with their eyes closed. Suddenly, a man and his children entered the subway car. The children ran yelling through the car, throwing things, grabbing people's newspapers. Their father sat down near me and closed his eyes and did nothing. I felt irritated. I could not believe he would let his children run wild like that. After a few minutes of patience and restraint, I turned to him and said, "Sir, your children are really disturbing a lot of people. I wonder if you could control them just a little more."
Yeah, you're right. I should do something. But we just came from the hospital where their mother died about an hour ago, and I guess they don't know how to handle it. Yes, I don't know how to handle it.
Can you imagine how I felt at that moment? My paradigm shifted. Suddenly I saw things differently. And because I saw differently, I thought differently. I felt differently. I acted differently. My irritation vanished. Compassion flowed freely. I wanted to help instead of criticizing and complaining. Once you see things as they really are, you'll think, feel, and act differently. And you'll do it automatically, spontaneously. If you want to make minor changes in your life, work on your behavior. But if you want to make significant quantum breakthroughs, work on your paradigms.
All right. So thank you for watching that. So when we talk about paradigms, why are paradigms so powerful? I'm sure you all have probably had paradigm shifts when you look at the video. Go ahead and drop in the chat box. Why is it so powerful to have that kind of shift, to see someone, to have an experience, to be in a situation where you just start thinking differently, right? Yeah, me too. I love this story. It's a good one. It's almost like that time, everybody's had a time where you put your foot in your mouth. It was one of those put your foot in your mouth situations like, ooh, I spoke too soon. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has a story. Yeah, anybody else in the chat, why are paradigms so powerful? Yeah, they learn habits that we've had for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it determines who we are, and we are very vested in our view of things. Ooh, that's good, Shari. Yeah, and they're hard to break. They can definitely be life-changing. They give us a framework, but it also can make us inflexible. Definitely. It definitely can. Yeah, it can create rigidity. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, well, the beautiful thing is our paradigms can shift. They actually shift all the time. They shift every day. Sometimes we're aware of it and sometimes we aren't. But there's always opportunities to think differently, to consider differently. But it is a practice, right, to think differently and to consider differently. And the more that we get aware of how we can have a shift or how something could be a shift for us, just like on that, he could have been on the train and just decided like, okay, well, that happened, but you still need to make your kids sit down. Like some people feel that way. Like, okay, there are a lot of things that happen, but sit down. Like that seems very mean, but some people would be that way because of however they, are scripted to feel like you have to get over things. You never know what people's experience is and how it comes out. And so we can decide things to be a shift. And there are other times where we may not decide to be a shift. Again, it's not about shaming ourselves. We got a long life to live to decide how we're going to shift our paradigm. And I'm sure we all have shifted it at one point in our lives. So we use this. Yeah, thank you. We can help or hurt someone if we offer focus. Yeah. So we use this to think about habit change. So we get results. You all have gotten results. You get results in your life based on the things you do. Did y'all know that? So you do a whole bunch of stuff and you get results, right? But our things, our practices, our behaviors are governed by our paradigms, the way that we see the world. My favorite example of this is spending money, right? So let's say Desiree wants to save $500. Can y'all help me save $500? Put in the chat box. What could Desiree do to save $500? Give me some love. Give me some advice. How can I save $500 today? Help me save some money. All right. So that's the result. $500. What can I do? What are the practices? What are the behaviors that will help me? Thank you, Sarah. Somebody cares. Okay, make a budget. Y'all care about me. Thank you. Help me save some money. Help me save some money today. Yes, a budget can be very helpful in this regard. What else could I do if I wanted to save a couple dollars here and there? Black Friday is coming up. Get some deals. Somebody help me out. I need a new phone. Pause, have a big dream and save for it. Okay, thank you. Take a pause, right? So I can start putting some money away. Thank you. So I got to make a budget. Love that. That's actually really helpful. Eat less. That is so true. No, that is real life true. Because sometimes we don't be hungry. We're not hungry. We just eat, for fun. Get another job. Okay, make me work out here. Get another job. Stop funding. Ooh, that's good. Stop funding non-essential activities. Ooh, thank you. So start prioritizing. I love that. So everything that's been put in the chat are very clearly things that could help me save money. But if my mind says, I don't got time for another job, or if I say, what do you mean stop funding non-essentials? I need Starbucks in my life. Like I need that. Like that makes me feel special. If I have these mindsets that I'm like rigid about, I'm not going to do those things that y'all told me to do. And that's what happens, right? We either have a do issue, maybe we don't have the right practices to help us get the results we want, or we have a C issue. We don't have a mindset that's aligned with practices that can get us what we want. And so when we want to change a habit, if you think about any habit that you changed or anything that you did differently in your life, it was because you did a thing that you were aligned with in terms of your belief around doing it. People that have dramatic changes in their health, dramatic changes in, maybe their schooling, a job shift, becoming a parent. We have some shifts that help us do different things and we get different results. And so that's how we change a habit. To make minor changes in your life, you can work on changing your behavior all day long. And that might be helpful. You might get some change. But if you want to make some significant quantum breakthroughs, work on your paradigms, work on how you see yourself, how you see what you're able to do, and what is possible for you. You will do bigger and better things from that. Tell me, what do you see right now? Now, this is a picture that you can see a whole lot of things. Tell me, what do you see? Drop it in the chat box. What do you see? It's a whole bunch of things in this picture, in my opinion. But tell me, what do you see? What do you see out here? I can tell you what I see, but I'm gonna say, yes, guy, that's what I see too, Sarah. Guy playing sax. That's what I see all the time. Yeah, guy playing sax, or a woman, right? Yep, I see a woman too. See a woman's face. Anybody see something else? Guy is playing instruments. I see two a saxophonist and a face. Okay. Anyone else see anything different than a saxophone will play a face, a person? I actually see a bird. I see a bird, but I think it's a bird by itself, like running into the man playing the saxophone. That's what I see. That the eye looks like a bird to me. But the point is, we see some different things. Some of us see, you see the bird? I think that's a bird running right into him. Okay. And so with that being said, we all can see this right away and see different things, right? And so with that being said, you know, then why do we think what we see is right? Right? Why do we think what we see is the right thing? Because obviously there is more than one way to see something. There's more than one version to see a thing. But we feel like, no, this is the hard, fast rule about social media. No, this is the hard, fast rule on how you be a parent. No, this is the hard, fast rule about, you know, how to have a fun vacation. Because my idea of a fun vacation is not your kid's idea of a fun vacation, 100%. And so, you know, the question we get to ask ourselves is, you know, whose paradigm is correct? You know, is it myself? Is it my family? Is it all of ours, depending on what day it is? Right? And this is not to like confuse our decision making. This is to expand us out of the rigidness that we can be in about how things should be handled. Yeah, of course, there are more effective ways to save money. Y'all gave me a lot of great ways to save money. Is it the only way? No, there's a plethora of ways that I could save money. We know this, right? And so then the question is like, well, is it correct only because it's the way I would do it? Or is it correct as long as you get the result that you want? You know, that's a whole nother way of thinking. Like, well, if you get the result that works, you know, then should I be upset? So things to consider as we're working through some of the things that we want to change in our family so we can be more of the family too, more of the time. We're never going to be family too all day. What? We're human beings. That's just not going to happen. But how can we get closer to that side? So that is the thoughts that I want to leave you with today as we're already almost at the top of the hour, right? So I want you to think about how can you have more paradigm shifts, right? And is the paradigm that you have, is it always correct, right? When can you have more paradigm shifts, or when have you had one? And is the way that you think always correct? So that's what we're going to leave off for today, because as we think about our paradigms and such, we're really thinking about principle-centered living. And so principles of effectiveness are self-evident natural laws. They don't change. They are like a compass. They provide true north direction to our lives. And so when we think about the 7 habits, it's all about principles. So when we think about, oh, my paradigm is right and theirs wrong, it's like, well, what is our value in this house? And as long as we're living our value, I don't really care how you do it, as long as that value is being exemplified, right? And so it says activity, but we won't have time to do it. On page 9 in the handy dandy electronic book that you have are all of the principles that are aligned with each habit. So this is habits 1 through 7 and the different principles. And so I love this because tomorrow we want to invite you to come back and actually, if possible, have other members of your family that can log in with you, because tomorrow we're going to work on habit 2. We're skipping habit 1 to work on habit 2 tomorrow. And habit 2 is about creating a family mission statement. And so a part of that is thinking about, well, what do we value as a family? And so these are some principles that can kind of get your juices flowing when you come back tomorrow, because we want to figure out, well, what is a family mission statement for us? What are the values that we have as a family that we want to live by? so that all of our choice making is done through this statement that we say represents our family and what we desire our family to do. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow is habit 2. We're going to bring vision and purpose to our family. So if you can bring someone else in your family, it's great if you can have your whole family on. We'll be doing activities just with our family so that we can get that family mission statement together. That's going to be your big takeaway tomorrow.